Yo, big up peeps, man. Good morning to everybody inside. Good morning to those who are obviously watching this on the replay. Good evening, good afternoon, whatever time you are watching this. Big up to your damn selves, man. Guys, as always, man, make sure you smash a like, share, and subscribe. Excuse me. I hope everyone is good, man. But look, we're here to do Premier League grades. I thought, excuse me, woke up on the wrong side this morning. As I was saying, I think I hadn't done a season review for Liverpool, and I was sitting there thinking, what's the best way to kind of do this? Because I felt like some time had obviously passed, and I know quite a few people are doing the season review, and I was thinking, right, should I do one? I couldn't really be bothered. I didn't really want to. And I said, you know what? I also did want to take a look at obviously the other Premier League teams. And of course, everybody's got to be held accountable. I've got to hold myself accountable as well. So I'm going to show you guys my early season predictions for where I thought certain teams are going to finish and stuff like that. Very interesting because, yeah, when I looked at it, I said, rah, I didn't think, you know what I mean? I didn't know certain teams actually over exceeded my own expectations. Some people, underperformed dramatically. So obviously we'll take a look at that. And then I'll give you my Premier League 24-25 season grades going forward. All right, let's take a little look. See. So this video I did on I must have done this video like months or maybe like a month before the season kicked off. If I remember correctly, I did it on 9 months ago. Yeah, so 9 months ago, exactly. That's when I actually did this video. So these are my predictions for the season just gone by. So obviously it's read like, so you'll see obviously I had Arsenal's champions. It's got Man City second, Liverpool third, Tottenham fourth, Villa. So it reads from, right to left. Yeah, right to left. I got the two at the bottom correct. The Everton one, I just did that because I was being salty. I thought Palace were going to have a tricky season, to be fair. I mean, who else got ready? Oh, Leicester City. Yeah, I thought Leicester City were going to do a lot better than they actually did. But listen, man, big up Hakeem in the building as well, man. Hope you're doing blessed this morning. I thought Palace would have because you know what it was? It was like I just felt that maybe, obviously, with Elise going, I didn't really think that they were going to be too good, if I'm being 100% honest with you. So I didn't really have them down as a team that were going to do what they did, which is obviously win the FA Cup, in the end. And it was more to do with the fact that I felt that other teams were going to do really, really well. So yeah, it was more about that than anything else. Fulham, yeah, calm. Bournemouth, Wolves, yeah. Like I'm not too angry about the places that I put some of these teams. Forest, though, I mean, I did have them in, what's that, 12th, 11th, 10, 9, 8, 10. Yeah, I think so. Yeah. So, yeah, it's not too, it's not too bad. No, sorry, I think I got it the other way around, actually. Let me turn the volume up then, my broski. Sometimes I feel like it's too loud. Sometimes I feel like it's too quiet. But yeah, anyways, from 6th to 10th, obviously, we've got in there. I think I've got it. Man United, Chelsea. Did I really put Newcastle there? So 6, 7, 8. Oh, okay. I had them 8th, 9th, West Ham, 10th, Brighton. I had, Europa League for Aston Villa. Yeah, I'm not really too upset in terms of where I put some of these teams. It's only really Spurs and Manchester United when we obviously look at how they were come the end of the season. Big up Jerry in the building as well. Spurs above LFC. No. It's the other way around. So I didn't have Spurs second. I would never have them second for anything. So in that, I think it's just because of when I did it at the time of the video. So I must have just done it quickly. So I had Arsenal first, City second, Liverpool third. I had Spurs in fourth, though. I really genuinely thought that Spurs were going to have a really good season. But yeah, it's only really the Spurs and Manchester United, if I'm being honest, that I'm looking at really. And I'm like, I'm annoyed that I put them there. But ultimately, I didn't know what was going to happen, come the end of the season. Obviously, when we look at the Premier League table, let's take a look at this table. Yeah, I mean, Chelsea finishing fourth. Villa did get Europe. Is that Europa League? Yeah, Villa got Europa League, so I was all right with that. Brighton did finish eighth, so I'm okay with that. Bournemouth as well. Fulham, Palace. Yeah. I'm not too fussed with that. Everton, like I said, I was just more being salty, to be honest with you. I didn't really care about what Everton were gonna do. Obviously, they got in David Moyes, so obviously they did their thing regardless. But let's move on anyway, man. Let's go straight to the Premier League grades. This ain't going to be a long video, peeps, man. I said I will try and do a few more lives. Do you know what I mean? Like, just break it up a little bit. So I said, here we go. All right. So this is the grading system that I've got here. If you're in the UK, this is the grading system from what I saw online. A star, A, B plus, B, C, D, E, and F. Yeah, I wasn't gonna. They have G, but I was like, I mean, F and a G is the same thing. I mean, like you would get a G probably just for writing your name. To be honest with you, I think writing your name correctly and getting like a couple of questions right, if that kind of thing. So let's start off. Let's kick it off. Bournemouth. They finished in ninth. They finished in ninth. Bournemouth. Well, when we look at this, where did I have them? I mean, I didn't even have them in that top 10. So really, they have overexceeded my own expectations. So I'm going to give Bournemouth, I'm going to give them a B plus. I'm going to give them a B plus. Yeah. I'm going to give them a B plus. I was thinking A, but they're not so far off of where I put them at the beginning of a season. So I don't feel like A is justifiable, so to speak, anyways. But yeah, listen, B plus. They've been fantastic this season under Iraola. Obviously, Cliver been immense for them up front. Obviously, you got Semenyo there as well. Kirkes, who Liverpool look like they want to sign this summer, and looks like it's close to doing that deal. Who've got Zabini and Howson at the back. Howson obviously just moved to Real Madrid as well. So clearly not just off the back of that, but having a really solid season for Bournemouth has obviously propelled a lot of these players. And not that I fear for Bournemouth, but they probably just got to be careful. I know teams like Bournemouth and Brighton, they're all right when it comes to they're okay when it comes to they can kind of just replace the players in there, which is okay to a certain extent, but you don't know when that point comes where you can't keep replacing them. Now the quality starts to drop off. We look at Southampton. I mean, obviously they got relegated, but I mean, Southampton old school, when they had the Virgils, the Lovrens, the Fontes and all these kind of guys, when they had all of these players and had good teams, Lallana and all of that, they couldn't keep replacing them though. It got to a point where it was now like, yeah, sorry, man. I think it's time that you guys, finally got relegated. So I hope that doesn't happen with a Bournemouth or, a Brighton, because I do like those two teams. I'll go with, should I go in order? Yeah, let's just go in order. Arsenal. I had them as champions. So they underachieved, in my opinion, anyway. But yeah, I really thought that they would be champions, man. I really thought that Arsenal would have a really good season. Listen, you'd have to chat to an Arsenal fan when it comes to the reasons why or the excuses why, however you kind of want to put it. But yeah, I do think it was I'm not an Arsenal fan, so I haven't really actually watched much of their content recently. I don't know how they all feel about how their season went. For me, it's kind of I don't know, like you got to the semi-final, obviously, of the Champions League, which is fantastic. And it's a stage you haven't been to for a very, very long time. I get that. So there's, I guess, progression within that. But in a general sense, I do feel like the season was a little bit underwhelming. They never challenged Liverpool at all. So you've really not wasted, but it's been kind of a, chasing tails really from the beginning of the season. Never looked like they were going to become champions. Never looked like they were in a position to really usurp Liverpool. Even if when, Liverpool would have that kind of inevitable drop-off, Arsenal weren't really ever there. And I used to, sit there and think, bro, are you going to make this? Like, this is why the Premier League this season is so boring, because you haven't really made it a race. Like, you've made it so tough to watch, come the end of the season. And of course, Liverpool obviously been excellent, but man, you're not really putting on much of a battle. On top of that, it's not like you're getting to the latter stages of, getting to they got to the semi-final of the Carabao Cup. Couldn't obviously beat Newcastle. Then I don't know where they got to in the FA Cup. So it's not really been a great season. So I'll have them. I'm going to put them C. I think it's been average, if I'm being honest with you. They've remained stable. They've remained stable. Let's put it that way. That's okay, I guess. Aston Villa. Aston Villa. Where did they finish again? They finished in sixth place, kind of where I had them, to be honest with you. It's been a weird season from Aston Villa, to be honest with you. Obviously, being in the Champions League, having that kind of, battle this season. In January, of course, signing all those players, you thought they were really going to, make a push, towards the back end of the season, potentially get to the FA Cup final. I know I was listening to Talk Sport around that time, and, they were talking, like Aston Villa fans were talking about, they would love, to win a trophy this season. It would mean more to them than getting a top 4 place and, getting into the Champions League again, because, of course, Villa haven't won, a trophy for a little while. Big up Mike's in the building. So, I think they kind of looked at it and thought maybe this might be a time where we can potentially win something. Unfortunately for them, it didn't quite happen. Of course, got knocked out in the Champions League to PSG. 6 in the league is actually quite respectable. And they finished level on points with Newcastle. And with Newcastle anyway. So it's not a mad thing. 3 points off of 4th. It's not crazy. 5 points off of Manchester City. It's not mad that they did, if I'm being totally honest with you. I had them in 5th place anyway, so they got Europa League football. They kind of finished exactly where I thought they would finish. Would I say that's just like average? Yes. I don't know if it's a worthy of a B like that. I'm trying to think. B. It's either B or C. I'm trying to think in my head, man. Where would I want to put them? Finish 6th. Obviously, finished Champions League last season. I thought you'd finish 5th anyway. Yeah, C. I mean, C's a pass, by the way. Like, C, you've passed. You're good. You ain't got to worry. Blah, blah, blah. Anything, obviously, below that is where it starts to get a little bit techie. But listen, you passed. Yeah, you passed. I'll give them a C. Brentford. So Brentford finished in 10th, level on points with Bournemouth, to be fair, who finished obviously in 9th. Mbeumo and Visser had excellent seasons, if I'm being totally honest with you. Really, really good performances from those two. Thomas Frank looks like he's now the Spurs manager. I'm sure it's now been confirmed. If not, it's going to be confirmed. But he's obviously had a good season. Who else in their team, actually, other than those two? Damsgaard has been really good. Got a lot of assists for Brentford this season. Shard, I like Shard. He's interesting. He's an interesting player. I was trying to wonder how will he do this season. I think he's been all right. I really, really think he's been all right. So yeah, I'm gonna put Brentford. Yeah, I'm gonna put them alongside Bournemouth, man. B+. I definitely did have you guys finish in those kind of positions anyway. Brighton. Where did they finish? So Brighton finished 8th. Yeah, Brighton finished 8th this season. It's been a weird season for Brighton, though. I can't lie to you. It feels like it's been a weird season anyway. Like, I feel like Brighton they weren't really consistent. Like, at the beginning of the season, they were really good. Obviously, I guess new manager bounce, new tactics, a couple new players, Minty and all of that thrown in there. But I don't know. It's like they kind of, in my eyes, it almost felt like Brighton just tailored off towards the back end of the season. Like, and in fact, I'm not even going to say back end. I'm going to say from January. It kind of almost felt like they were treading water for quite a while. And when I say treading water, not fighting any relegation battles. It was just more treading water to find some real consistency, if I'm being super honest with you. So, yeah, they were a bit of a weird one. Like, finishing 8th is calm. Like, that's not a crazy thing to finish. And can't remember where. Let me double check. Where did I have these guys? So they finished kind of more or less where I thought that they would finish anyway, or where I predicted them to finish. So yeah, I'd say it was kind of average from them. I'll be honest, it was kind of average. Like, I did feel a little. I'm left a little bit disappointed with Brighton. Like, I felt like they need to do more. I don't know what that more looks like. Obviously, it's difficult. You lose McAllister, you lose Moises Caicedo, Pascal Gross, I believe, is at Borussia Dortmund. Like, they've lost some players. It's not really working, but they're able to keep it ticking though. Now, for a team like Brighton, in the bigger picture, this is fantastic. By the way, like don't let what I'm saying fool you. This is fantastic, in my opinion, for Brighton. What, to finish consistently in the top half of the Premier League and be close to these European spots like every single season, and then you're gonna have those seasons where you break into one position or another. So yeah, in general, it's good, but in terms of how the season went, yeah, I'm gonna say, yeah, I'll give them a C. I'll give them a C still. Who's next? Chelsea. They finished in 4th. Boy, Chelsea, man. I don't know, man. I think you exceeded my expectations. So that is one thing I will give you guys. They did exceed my expectations this season. I think I had them in, I had Manchester United, I believe, finishing ahead of them. So they exceeded my expectations. In terms of the season, though, I mean, they finished 4th. I mean, what else did I really expect for them to do? They won a trophy as well. Yeah, all right, cool. You know what? I'm going to put Chelsea in. I'm going to put them in B, just below these two. Yeah, I'm going to put them in B. B's good, by the way. Better than Arsenal. Crystal Palace. They definitely overexceeded my expectations. But they finished. Oh, no, they didn't actually. They finished in 12th. I think that's exactly where I had them. Or nearabouts where I had them. Finished 12th. Won the FA Cup, which is obviously fantastic. I know they're still going. There's this ongoing battle going on in terms of whether they're going to be allowed into Europe or not. I don't know. Whether they're going to be allowed into Europe. Hopefully they are, because I think it'll be really good for a team like Crystal Palace to be in that competition. And I think it will play a part. I don't know if it's been sorted out, by the way, but if it hasn't, this will, I think, play a part in their transfer dealings in terms of the players that they may potentially let go or keep. Players like Mark Gay, obviously the captain of the team. You got Eze, you got Mateta, you got Adam Wharton, heck, you got Munoz as well. Like, there's a lot of players in that team that I think, if the ruling goes the other way, and again, I don't know, I'd have to double check, but the last I saw, they were still trying to sort it out. If it goes the other way, I do feel like they would lose some players, man. I just feel like, yeah, it's going to just come to its natural end with this team. Like, this team, they've had Elise, they've had Eze, they've had Mateta, they've had all of these guys. Yeah, and they've won a cup with that team. If they can't take it into Europe, I feel like it's curtains, I really do feel like it's curtains. But listen, I think they've had a really, really good... They've had a calm season. 12th place for them. Yeah, it's calm. I feel like the FA Cup win would put them in to B, but I'm slightly thinking more C, to be honest with you. I'm going to put them in C. Because, again, as much as I predicted them to finish where they finished, as the season obviously went on, in context of the season, I did look at it and think, bro, I feel like you guys can, push a little bit further. Like, I don't feel like it has to be where you are at right now, kind of thing. But listen, it is what it is, man. It is what it is. Everton, listen, man, they overexceeded my expectations regardless. Everton had some good moments this season. I will say that much. Obviously, we all saw they look like a team that might potentially go down. I remember sitting there thinking, listen, Everton can't buy a win here. I mean, they only won 11 times anyway. And I would love to know, 3 in the last 5 games. So take out the 3 in the last 5. I'm trying to say that prior to that, it was only 8 wins all season. Those are crazy numbers. That's only double that. Prior to that, that's only double what Ipswich got in the whole of the season. So yeah, man, Everton were dangling for a while, but they managed to finish above both Manchester United and Tottenham Hotspur. David Moyes obviously coming in. Yeah, I think, calm for them. Yeah, calm. Obviously, they overexceeded. I'm going to give them a B, because they overexceeded where I actually predicted them to finish. And I feel like, in context of the season, considering where you were, then you obviously change manager, you get David Moyes in. And I felt like you were not B plus. I felt like you were actually calm towards when David Moyes came in till the end of the season. I can't remember the exact date. From that point on, I thought like Everton were actually pretty decent. Like, they were a hard team to beat this season. I will definitely say that much. I mean, I'm looking at the goals. They can see the less goals in the season than Newcastle, Aston Villa, Nottingham Forest, Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford, Fulham, and Palace all of those teams above them, they conceded less goals. They conceded the same amount of goals as Manchester City this season. Yeah, man, they had a decent season, man. David Moyes actually helped them out still. Nottingham Forest, excellent. Them and Bournemouth, absolutely excellent. They finished in 7th. Bro, they were fighting relegation for 2 seasons. And I didn't think that was going to change. I can't lie to you. I didn't look at it and think, no, they'll be, or even if I did, or even if maybe there was like a glimmer of hope, it wasn't to finish in 7th. Remember, guys, they were looking at trying to challenge for the title at one stage in the season. Obviously, they dropped off towards the back end. You can see here, they only won 1 of their last 5 matches, which obviously hurt them, because had they won even just 2 more, then they would have obviously made it into Europe. But listen, it is what it is. Coming off 2 seasons where you're battling relegation, got Europe. I mean, excellent, man. Like I say, man, to me, that's an excellent season. So, yeah, I put them same as these 3 here. Or would I put them A? Would I put them in A? Yeah, actually, I might move Bournemouth and no. I'll leave them there. Actually, I'll leave them there. I feel like B+. Can't just be giving out A's just like that. Yeah, I mean, you got to work for that shit. Fulham. Where did they finish? Finish in 11th. They were aight. You know what I'm saying? They were aight. Again, exactly like Brighton. You just lack consistency. You have your good moments, you have your good games, but you can't really sustain it. Too tough. It's kind of a bit, not underwhelming, but average season for you guys in terms of nothing's really gone in. Both in cup competitions or even in the Premier League in general. You don't really look like you're really pushing for something. Next season, though, obviously whether they keep Marcus Silva or not, I don't know if he's planning on staying, but next season, I really think they need to start pushing. Like, for them to finish below, like they finished in 10th, right? And they still finish below Forest, Brighton, and Brentford and Bournemouth. For me, I'm looking at those batch of teams from Forest, Brighton, Bournemouth, Brentford, and Fulham, and Palace, if you want to throw them in there. Yeah, you want to be at the top of that pile. At the bare minimum, you want to be at the top of that team pile right there. So, and obviously that means you finish in obviously 7th position, and then you've got the other, 6 teams above that. Add in also still Manchester United and Spurs, who are probably going to come back next season. So, yeah, you want to be at the top of that pile. They weren't. They were at the bottom. Well, yeah, they were at the second from bottom from that pile. So, yeah, I say average season. Ipswich. There people fucked with it. I really don't understand. I thought they were absolutely like. Let me not be too harsh. They were obviously you got relegated, so you failed regardless. But I mean, you kind of exceeded the expectation. Not exceeded, but I thought you was going to get relegated anyway. You played some decent football in that, like it was calm football, and I feel like Kieran McKenna, I liked his football. And I do feel that he did actually try to adapt to the Premier League. He didn't really do a Vincent Kompany and think, yeah, man, I'm just going to ball out with the players that I've got here. Like, he didn't do a Southampton, where I felt like Southampton, obviously, whatever, we'll get to them in a minute. They played all right. Like, across the season. Obviously, clearly good enough that everyone wanted Liam Delap. Now he's gone to Chelsea. So, yeah. I'll give you an E. I'll give you an E, just for argument's sake. He still failed, but you know what I mean. Like you got an E, or is it E a fail? Yeah, E must be a fail, man. It must be a fail. Why would you want to get an E? Why do they even do any grades lower than thing? If you don't pass, you don't pass. Like, what difference does it make? This English system. Leicester City, very disappointing. Very. I know they finished in 18th, but very disappointed, man. That for me, when Ruud van Nistelrooy came in, oh my goodness, they were absolutely awful. Absolutely awful. It was horrible at some stage. Like you were looking at them thinking, damn, homie, in high school, you was the man, homie. Like, you guys really won the Premier League, like, what, 10 years ago? That's crazy. You still got Jamie Vardy in that. That's kind of wild to me, man. Big up Fake Pundit in the building, man. Yeah, that's wild to me. But they were so rubbish. Like, there wasn't really any good moments for them. Like, for me, like, I didn't watch them at any time this season and think, yeah, calm. Like, they just looked like they were drowning from the jump. And the thing is, when I look at their players, I don't even understand, because I'm like, I feel like you guys got some decent players in your team. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, Yeah, nah, they were awful, man. Honestly, they were so bad. Let's move on. Liverpool. Go on. Let's give Liverpool the A star. Yeah, I mean, let's give Liverpool the A star. You win the Premier League. I can't give you any lower than that, to be honest with you. Do you get what I'm trying to say? Like, you won the Premier League, and they exceeded my expectations this season. They definitely exceeded my. I had them in third. I thought Arsenal. I mean, it's funny because the top three remained the same, as it has been, but the positions were different. And yeah, no, listen, man, Liverpool, Arne Slot, first season for him, absolutely amazing, brilliant. For your manager to come in your first season and win the Premier League, that's fantastic. You can't really beat that kind of. Jose Mourinho done it. I think Antonio Conte's done it, and a few other managers, have done that in their first season. Not many though, not many. So to be able to do that, big up to Arne Slot. Big up to Arne Slot. I think, like everybody, like all the other Liverpool fans and fans of everybody of their own teams, we're all just waiting to see what's going to happen next, with Liverpool and, what Liverpool going to do, how they're going to do things, and etc. etc. So, yeah, man. But listen, big up to him. Won the Premier League. Can't really ask for more, than that, to be honest with you. Next up, Man City. Oh, Man City, you just about get a C. And I was slightly leaning towards a D, but I said, you know what? You made Champions League, and I don't feel like I can give anyone who gets Champions League, I don't feel like I can give you lower than a D. But you lot were crap for a lot of the season. I know the second half of the season, you turned back into the old Manchester City, where let me even see their record. I feel like their record was mad towards the back end of last season. Fucking hell. So towards the end, I'll even tell you. So from the end of the season to March. So from March the 8th, where they lost to Nottingham Forest 1-0, right? From March the 8th, from that point on, Man City only lost one game. And that was the final against Crystal Palace. They didn't lose another game in the Premier League from March to May, which is so crazy. Like when you think about it, that's actually crazy. That's actually crazy. Yeah. Like I said, man, Manchester City just did their old thing as they were going to do. As we knew that this run was coming. Like we just knew it was coming. We just didn't know when it was going to come, because at some point, I mean, prior to that day, I mean, they had a period where they lost to Forest, they lost to Liverpool and Real Madrid back to back. Obviously, lost to Real Madrid as well. Again, lost to Arsenal 5-1. Lost to Man United, lost to Villa back to back, lost to PSG. They had some, they weren't having a good time. But you see, from March to May, not losing one Premier League game, crazy. But like I said, they just scraped a C. Ultimately, they made Champions League, and ultimately they only finished 3 points behind Arsenal, who were in second. So, you know what I mean? How bad is it? Kind of thing. How bad is it? Big up Morris, man. Good morning to you. Good morning to you, man. Big up to everybody, man. Big up to everybody inside. We're almost done as well. Like I said, just a quick video. I don't know who's going live later on today. I'm gonna say maybe Ends. I don't know. I haven't spoken to him this morning. But if he is, I will, of course, redirect you guys over there. All right, so we've got Manchester United. You failed. You failed, you bums. You absolute bums. Manchester United were absolutely awful. They're so lucky that Spurs finished in 17th. They are so lucky. Manchester United, you lot were absolutely dog shit for time. For time. Excuse my language so early in the morning. But yeah, you lot was rubbish. Didn't win the Europa League. I mean, yeah. Wolverhampton Wanderers won more games than you. Yeah. Man United, man, you're rubbish, man. Let's move on to the next one. Newcastle United. Where did Newcastle finish again? 5th. Okay. Is that Champions League? Yeah, it is Champions League. I feel like Where did I have them actually beforehand? Let me check. Okay, so I didn't even have them getting. I mean, I didn't know there was going to be 5 places for Champions League. To be fair, so there is that. But even still, I didn't have them in the top 5. I feel like I'm leaning more towards C. I can't even lie. For Arsenal's via, considering we finished second to you, man. Yeah. But you know what I mean? Like, it was a bit of an average season. Like, you didn't exceed any expectations. You weren't dead. It was just average. Like, you had an average season. You know what I mean? Like, you had the same season that you had last season. You did exactly the same thing as you did the season before that. So it's like, yeah, you passed. Like, you know what I mean? You got the passable grade. You can take that to wherever, innit? Like, it doesn't really matter as long as you pass. As long as you pass. Newcastle, I don't know, man. Newcastle, I mean, they won a trophy. They won a trophy this season. It's either a B or a C. I'll give them B because of the trophy. And they made Champions League. Fuck it. Yeah, I'll give them a B. I think they had a better season than Arsenal. Southampton, I'm giving you an F. You annoyed me because at what point did you not watch what Burnley did the season before and say to yourself, you know what? We are going to try and be a little bit more adaptable to the Premier League. We're not against Liverpool, who have Mo Salah, Luis Diaz, Cody Gakpo, Szoboszlai, McAllister, Virgil van Dijk, Trent Alexander-Arnold at the time, and try and play out from the back. How about we're not going to do that? How about that's not going to be what we try to do against a team like that, who are notoriously known for pressing? Yeah, you lot were rubbish. You were crap. Sorry to say, Southampton fans, I respect you, but you lost 30 out of 38 matches. That is a failure by any stretch of the imagination. That is 30 matches. You only won 2 games all season. Nah. You failed miserably. Spurs will get an E purely because they won the Europa League. Otherwise, they would be an F as well. And I'm slightly thinking more F, but the Europa League saves you. It literally saves you. Spurs, again, were crap. They were dog doo-doo. They were about as good as Leicester City. Like, I don't see that much difference between the two teams. Obviously, in terms of quality, of course, yes, they've got more quality than a Leicester City and everybody else. In terms of how you played this season, yeah, you were just a bit better than Leicester City for me. You were awful. Like, and you were, at times, you and Manchester United were just embarrassing at times. Like, genuinely embarrassing to watch. I was like, bro, what is this? And again, I don't do excuses. I don't really care about your injuries. It's really not that deep. Your injuries are not the reason why you finished in the position that you finished. I can tell you for free. Your injuries are not the reason why you finished in 17th. 17th. The only way I would accept injuries is if I saw a lineup where 90 to 95% of your lineup was full of academy players or players from the under 21s. Then I would say, okay, fair enough. But it wasn't. I saw your lineups. I saw your teams. You were just shit. It is what it is. We move. You won the Europa League. So really, you don't even care because you made Champions League and you still finish in 17th. Won a trophy, European trophy, before Arsenal did as well. You know what I mean? It doesn't really matter. West Ham. The Hammers. I'm going to give them a D. I feel like very underwhelming from West Ham this season. Very, very underwhelming. I know they changed managers. Obviously, Graham Potter is now obviously in charge. But very underwhelming, man. Very, very underwhelming. Didn't really think that they got going at all this season. Like, at all. Just felt like it was just really a bit of a... It's like they didn't want to go, to do well, but then showed some weird flashes of, like, brilliance in some games. Like, nah. It was rubbish, man. It was rubbish. And then finally, we've got Wolverhampton Wanderers. For a long time, I thought Wolves were going to get relegated because of the way they were going. They were able to get themselves out of that situation. They finished 4 points above. God, Spurs, you were so shit. They finished 4 points above Spurs. And they were in the relegation for a time. for time. Mateus Cunha really did save them this season, you know. Like he really, really. Hold on. Who the hell is that? Leicester City only scored 33 goals. Sorry, that just threw me off. I'll give them a D as well. I'll give them a D. Yeah, it was kind of like like it turned out to just be a nothing season for them come the end of it. Like that's the way I kind of saw again their season, man. But here's the rankings, man. So we've only got one team, of course, Liverpool in the A star. No one in an A. I don't think anyone really deserved an A like that. B plus, Bournemouth, Brentford, Nottingham Forest. I think all those teams they were really good this season. B, I gave to Chelsea, Everton, and Newcastle. In C, which is just past, Arsenal, Villa, Brighton, Palace, Fulham, and Manchester City. D, we had obviously West Ham and Wolves. E, Ipswich and Spurs. And then in F, absolute failures, Leicester City, Manchester United, and Southampton. So there you guys have it, man. There you guys have it. It's going to be interesting to see next season's predictions. And I'm going to do the same thing. I'll do my predictions come like once I think it's just before the first game of the season. I'll do another one of those prediction shows. And then, of course, we will chop it up to see, you know, who's going to finish in what position, etc., etc. And then come the end of next season, we'll see if I got my predictions right or if I was even remotely close. This time I'm going to think a little bit. Oh, now I've seen everybody last season and and Liverpool have finally got their new manager in. I know how he is and all of that kind of stuff. I can maybe gauge it potentially a little bit better. Are Nottingham Forest going to have a better season? Do you know what I mean? Or are they going to, you know, just remain consistent with it and, you know, stay in that kind of position, which will, of course, be good for them. So, yeah, we'll wait and see on that one, man. We'll wait and see. But, guys, make sure you do smash a like, share, and subscribe. I'll double check to see if Enz is doing a video, if he's got anything scheduled. Let's see. Ends, you got anything? No, I don't see anything scheduled at the moment, Pete. But of course, keep your notification bells on regardless. You guys will be able to see that. And as well, guys, if you get some time, make sure you check out my Kvaratskhelia video. I dropped that last night. So yeah, make sure you check that out. Let me know what you guys think about him and how he's been this season. As I said, all summer, we're dropping videos, guys. Don't worry about the transfer stuff. We'll drop videos for that, of course, but we've got videos dropping every day. I've got different types of videos. What do you guys want? Player analysis, youth analysis, tactics, you know, looking at managers and players and teams. And listen, man, it's a busy summer. There's so many teams to talk about. So we will, of course, get through all of that. Big up to everybody, of course, who was in the chat. Big up Akeem, big up Morris, big up Jerry, Fake Pundit. Yeah, love for you guys for joining me this morning. And yeah, man, stay tuned, stay locked in. I should have a video dropping later on today. So yeah, man, look out for that. And I'll catch you guys soon.